Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have my beautiful model Amy here, so we're going to jump right into it. I'm starting off by taking a disposable mascara wand and brushing the brow hairs up, and then using my Tarte Tape Shape Concealer, I'm going to carve out the underneath of the brow. I love carving out the brows because when it comes time to actually doing the brows, you already have a perfect clean line to follow, so it makes doing the brows so easy and it just makes the brows look flawless as well. So once I've carved out the brow, I just take the rest of the concealer right the way over the lid, and this is going to be the base for my eyeshadow, and I like to take that on a flat synthetic concealer brush by Napoleon Perdis. Then I take my finger over the lid just to soften the concealer out, and it's also a great way of getting rid of any creases before we set. And then to set, I take a fluffy blending brush and I press down a loose translucent setting powder, and this is how I prep the eyes for eyeshadow. Now taking Hoola by Benefit, I'm taking that on the same fluffy brush through the socket, and this is our transition shade today. I love using bronzers and contour powders as a transition shade. Now taking 300 by Inglot, a really beautiful caramelly tone. Again on the same brush, I'm taking this through the socket. Now taking 335 by Inglot, this is a really beautiful warm red brick tone, and I'm just taking this kind of over the top of the shadow, and this is just going to give us a really nice warm tinge to the makeup. Now I'm taking Fawn by Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows ever. This is one of the biggest staples in my kit. I use it on almost everyone. I'm just laying that right in the base of Amy's socket on my MAC 217. This is really good for definition. It's a really beautiful medium matte toned neutral brown. I just love it. And I always go back in with my fluffy brush just over all the shadows we've placed down, just to make sure that everything blends nice and seamlessly. And now I'm taking Mocha by Geek, my favorite dark brown shadow ever. I'm taking that on my 217 and I'm just pressing that through the outer corner and a little bit through the lash line. Now taking Smoke by Anastasia Beverly Hills, on the same brush, I'm laying this again through the outer corner and quite heavily through the lash line. This is really going to start to give us some beautiful definition and smokiness. And once that's laid down, again, back in with my fluffy blending brush just to soften everything out, and so we have a nice seamless blend. Now taking the same brush that I used to carve the brows out, with whatever concealer is left on the brush, I'm just patting this over the mobile lid where we haven't placed down any eyeshadow yet. Then taking my Urban Decay Naked palette, I'm going in with Half Baked, my favourite gold eyeshadow in the world, and I'm just dragging that down on the lid using my MAC 239 brush. So I like to start at the top of the lid and then slide my brush down. I find that this gives the shadow the maximum payoff. I love laying down a little bit of concealer first before I go in with an iridescent eyeshadow. First of all, because it really is going to give you maximum payoff, but it also gives something for the iridescent shadow to cling to. Now on an angle brush, I'm just pressing a little bit of black eyeshadow into the lash line. This is one of my favorite steps to do in makeup, especially if I'm doing smoky eyes. I just think it makes the eyes so beautiful and it gives such beautiful definition. So once I've laid that down with my angle brush, I'm going back in with my MAC 217, the same brush that we used to lay down the darker eyeshadows. I'm just using whatever's left on the brush and I'm just running that over the line just to soften it and blend that back into the makeup. Now taking my Inglot AMC gel liner in number 77, my biggest tip when doing eyeliner is I love to gently place my thumb on my client's mobile lid. This is a really good way in stopping any movement on the eye so you get a really nice clean line. And then for the inner corner, again, I place my thumb on the inner part of the lid. I get them to look down and outwards, and it's a really good way of getting a nice clean line on the inner corner. And now I'm just doing the rest of the liner, working on the outer wing. Now onto the skin, I went ahead and primed, and now for foundation, taking my Born This Way by Too Faced, I mixed equal parts of Snow and Caramel, and I'm just pushing this foundation right the way over Amy's skin. I always make sure that I take the foundation right the way down the neck, behind the ear and over the ear, just to make sure that we're all one colour, especially if your client's fake tanned. And to get a really flawless full coverage base, I like to use my foundation brush to really push the foundation over the skin. And for cream contour, I'm just placing little dots around the hairline, and then taking my foundation brush, I'm going to use that to blend that into the rest of the skin. And for the cheeks, I actually like to lay a line down the cheekbone. So I like to start at the top of the ear and then go straight down in the hollows of the cheeks. And then again, I blend that out with my foundation brush. And my key is, the stronger you want a cheek contour, the less you blend it out. And the more softer, the more you blend it out. To contour the jaw, I like to physically paint the contour on the jaw and then I drag it down the neck. This way I think you get a really seamless blend and it just makes blending a lot easier. For the nose, I like to start in the inner part of the brow and drag a straight line down, and I always shade the tip of the nose. It's a really great way to shorten it, and then I always shade down the sides of the nostrils as well. And then I always like to go in with my finger just to initially blend the product, and then I go in with my foundation brush just to get rid of the harsh lines and make sure the blend is really nice and seamless. Concealer time, I'm taking my Tarte Tape Shape Concealer, this one's in Light Medium Honey, and I'm just going to create an upside down triangle underneath Amy's eyes and making sure that I take the concealer right up underneath the lash line, and I also use it to sharpen off the wing underneath the eye. I also take a small amount of concealer on the chin, the forehead and down the nose and buff that out with my foundation brush. I love taking the foundation brush over the edges of where the concealer and the foundation meet. I think it just busts together really well and gives it a really flawless blend. And then my absolute favourite thing to do is I always like to take my finger just over the concealer underneath the eye just to soften it out, and it just looks so flawless. And it's also a great way of getting rid of any creases just before we go to set the underneath of the eye. And to set, I'm taking a little bit of loose setting powder and I'm taking that on my favourite setting brush of all time, and that's my 16B by Napoleon Perdis. And using that same loose setting powder on a nice big fluffy brush, I'm just going to press this powder right the way over the skin. So everywhere where we put foundation, we're going to put the powder. So we're going to take it right over the skin, the ears and the neck. Now time to bronze, taking my Mecca Max Sunlit Skin Bronzer in medium. I take this across the hairline, the temples, the cheeks, across the nose, across the chin and through the jawline as well. And then to add a nice bronzy glow to the skin, I take my Betty Luminizer by the Balm just over the top of where we placed that bronzer. And then to contour, I'm taking my Hoola by Benefit. Now this is actually a bronzer, but I like to use it as a contour powder, and I just lay it in the cheeks just to really further accentuate that cheek contour. And then for blush, I'm taking my e.l.f. Twinkle Pink blush. This is one of my favorite blushes to use on my clients. It's got a little bit of a glow, so again, it just makes the skin look nice and healthy, but I just think it puts back a little bit of color into the skin. So it's just such a beautiful blush. And now onto brows. I'm starting off by brushing Amy's brow hairs up, and for brows today I'm using my Brow Wiz by Anastasia Beverly Hills in dark brown. So starting with the underneath of the brow, all I am doing is following the already carved out line that we've created when I prepped Amy's eyes. Because the brows are already carved out, we've already created that perfect clean line, so all I need to do is literally trace that line with my brow pencil. I then like to feather the brow product upwards through the front of the brow just to create some faux brow hairs. Just makes the brows look really feathery and natural. I'm fairly light-handed through the front of the brows. I just like to do nice, soft, short strokes, and then I keep the bulk of the product just through the back of the brow, just where most of us need a little bit of definition. Now setting the brows, I'm taking this eyeshadow by Inglot. It's a really beautiful, cool toned medium matte brown, so really perfect to set the brows down. And to apply that shadow, I'm just taking my Zoeva 317 wing liner brush. I love using an eyeshadow to set the brows down. I just think it gives the brows such a professional finish, but it's also going to ensure that you get really good longevity out of the brows as well. And guys, who else wants Amy's brows? Are they not the most perfect, flawless brows you have ever seen? If I may say so myself, I think she is brow goals. I love her eyebrows so much. I mean, you guys, look at her brows. I can't. So now I'm just dragging a little bit of Hoola bronzer just underneath the eye, and then I'm pressing in a little bit of Mocha, that dark brown eyeshadow, just right at the lash line. And to apply that, I'm using my MAC 239 brush. And then to finish off the eyes, I'm just going in with a really fine line of brown eyeliner just along her waterline. And that's the eye makeup done. Now going in with mascara. Amy actually had her mascara with her, so I just went in with her mascara. And a really good tip that I find when putting mascara on clients is, again, going in with my finger and holding their mobile lid. This is really good if a client has sensitive eyes, and it's really good for control as well, so you don't get mascara accidentally on the eyelid. And her lashes are on. I loved her lashes. She loved her lashes too. I customize Amy's lashes, which is something that I do for the majority of my clients. I love customizing lashes. And now I'm just quickly going around the outline of Amy's lips with MAC Spice lip liner. And now I actually started off with MAC Blankety lipstick, which I think is a really, really beautiful lipstick, but I just thought it was a little bit too pink for this look. I didn't really like it, so I ended up just popping on a little bit of foundation over the lip just to make it a little bit more monochromatic. And then last but not least, I took my Mary Luminizer by the Balm to highlight, and I applied that with a fairly dense brush. If you like quite a strong highlight, I definitely recommend pressing the highlighter into the skin with a really dense brush. You'll get a really nice maximum payoff of your highlight. And then I just took a more precise brush and just laid that highlighter down the center of the nose and a little bit on the tip. And now to set the skin, I'm taking my Mario Badescu facial spray and I'm spritzing this right the way over Amy's skin, just avoiding the eye area. And that, guys, is my finished look. Amy is a vet nurse and she literally just finished a 12-hour night shift and was so nice and let me film this look just before she had to do another 12-hour night shift. So I just love her, guys. I love this makeup. She's got the most beautiful soul, and obviously, as you can see, she's so beautiful. I'm so happy with how this makeup turned out, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love her. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!